Here with so hello everyone again. I'm here with Samuel Hess. Hi Samuel.
Hey, how's it going? It's my first webinar in a very long time. Super excited.
Yeah, I think I haven't done this for months now as well. So, but let's introduce ourselves, right, Samuel? So you go first, please.
Yeah, of course. Nice to be here. First of all, I got a little bit rusty. Not gonna lie. So I'm Samuel Hess. I'm one of the co-founders of Trip Agency. We've initially started having our own online shops. Failed miserably with them, like when we were back in high school. Then switched over to what we were really good at, and that was optimizing online shops and websites in around 2019. And ever since then, we've been doing nothing but optimizing online stores. And I think now, what is it? Is it 2025? Yes, 2025, right? I keep forgetting it. So now we've been optimizing online stores for 6 years. We're a team of around 50 people by now. So lots of insights and super excited just to share some of the stuff we do and hope that everyone can take some of the things that we learned over 6 years and just have a cheat code to get more value out of it and maybe get some small tweaks that instantly can boost your conversion or AOV.
Super. Then we will chat more about it. I'm a bit interested in the story behind what you're doing. So basically, I'm Valentin Radu. I'm the founder at OmniConvert. I'm a former e-commerce entrepreneur. I've been let's say struggling to put bread on the table because the Google ads were too expensive, and because of that I've been doing a lot of growth experiments. And when I discovered that the conversion rate is not like gravity, so can be affected by what the heck we are doing on the website, I've decided let's build a tool, because the developers were let's say cursing me every day, tweak this, change that, change the other. So I built my own tool. I've been super successful by running like 45 tests in 11 months, increased our own conversion rate by 60%, because basically people were not even aware that they can buy from our website. And thanks to that, I've built OmniConvert. So 12 years in the making. We are an A/B testing vendor. We are serving e-commerce companies, and we have a lot of growth software around this. And basically that's it from my end. But let's set the expectations properly for everyone who's here. So our game plan is to share CRO insights today for your e-commerce websites, to give you a tour about the AI CRO benchmark tool that we've been developing. And pretty much that's it. So basically that's for us today. Samuel, you wanna?
Yeah, I think at the end I'm super stoked about the AI benchmark. I've been looking a lot at it, and I mean it's getting more and more important using AI. But then in the end, I'm also gonna share some of the strategies that we use to analyze funnels. So you actually get best of both worlds, like all the AI stuff on mass benchmarking, and then also, hey, how can you actually customize how you look at your funnel, and how can you get 5, 10, 15 insights within an hour, and then optimize your store. So super excited, Valentin, super excited to see the CRO benchmark. Yeah, maybe let's just dive into it. You showed me some pretty interesting things.
Yeah, that's the plan. So let me share my screen with you, everyone. So I guess I'm here. So basically, what the CRO benchmark does, it's having like 200 plus AI agents which are doing snapshots on the website and are analyzing a lot of criteria. Based on those criteria, is giving a total score. Like in this case, for this website, we have Gani, which is a total CRO index of 59%. We can see the transition from last month to the next month. We have a CRO basic score. Basically, this is analyzing the entire funnel, right? So we have a lot of criteria over here. We can look at all sorts of things. We can look at the things which are site-wide. We can look at the things which are only on the product listing page. For instance, this doesn't have the back to button visibility on the product listing page and whatever. They are all contributing to the total score. And we also have this tracking hygiene, which basically takes into account how the tracking in Google Analytics, if it's using Google Analytics, is being made. And thanks to that, is giving a score as well. these three CRO basics plus the tracking hygiene plus the page speed, which is getting from Google page speed score, then it contributes to the whole CRO index, and you can also compare to the industry average. And thanks to that, you'll be able to see how you stand. For instance, this website, we have around 3,000 websites which have been analyzed in the last 3 months, and you can see where you stand in the by industry or by country or by a platform. So basically, you can see all the Shopify stores, what's their traffic. You can look at their tracking hygiene. You can look at their page speed and so on. So basically, that's what the CRO benchmark does. It's mainly a way to scratch the surface and understand the things that are a website is missing. And the backstory of how the CRO benchmark has been created is that I've asked 100 plus CRO experts, hey, what we should be analyzing when it comes to a website. And basically, they all contributed and they all voted, and they've said this is more important than the other, this is less important, and whatever. So thanks to that, we built the CRO benchmark, and thanks to that, we are in a position right now to analyze pretty much any e-commerce website on this particular platform. So basically, you analyze your website, you compare it with your peers from your industry or country, and you can improve the things so that you can generate, of course, more conversions. But as any AI is just allowing you to see what's going on. So it's not like don't expect for flipping a switch and increasing your conversion rate, because that doesn't work this way. Pretty much that's it. And by the way, if you have questions, I hope that our partner in crime, which you are not seeing, Alex, can grab the questions that you're asking, and he can help us with them.
Perfect. Yeah, Valentin, what I would find really interesting. So how do you analyze a website with that now? Like, let's say you go into one, like what are the actionable tips and things you actually get out of it?
Yeah, for sure. So one, let's look at the particular website, right? So let me open up a website and let me look at it, right? So we have this ColourPop website. In terms of the CRO basics, we are looking at all of these criteria, right? So for instance, text over the image on the homepage. So instead of having heavy images, you have that, right? So basically that's an important thing. Vector graphics, high quality hero image. So how heavy it is, which means that if the hero image is A, occupying a lot of the real estate, and B is very big, then that's affecting the page speed. And then cart accessibility on the homepage, pretty straightforward, right? So we are analyzing all these criteria, and you can look at the things that are there, right? So let's say the search bar on the homepage. Are you using A/B testing tools, which is a sign that you are doing something for your conversion rate or not? You are analyzing the heat maps. You are using product analytics tools. So basically that's on the homepage. But if we go deeper, shipment clarity on the PDP. So if it's no shipment clarity, so you don't know when you're going to get this product, or if you're going to get it this week, or if it's going to cost you extra or stuff like that, then you might stop. And of course, there are all sorts of things that are let's say the mechanism to save your favorites on the product listing page. All of these criteria are contributing to a score. In the next 3 weeks, we are going to also add the impact of this particular criteria. So you can sort out based on, okay, I'm failing at this criteria, but which are the most impactful ones, which should be fixed, because not all these are created equal. So basically, these are the things that you can do with the tool itself.
So if I understand it right, essentially you get a full checklist with like every single hygiene criteria that's important in CRO, and then you can go in and figure out what are the things you might not be doing yet. That's insane. And I think you completely forgot to mention, like, that's 100% for free, right?
Like, exactly.
So anyone that's in here, like I found it insane that Valentin's making that accessible for free. Because like if you're starting out of 0 or like starting to optimize your online shop, like it's so good to know what are the best practices in an industry. As it's saying, like how much clarity it gives you. What I find even more interesting, like I don't know if you want to go into that, is like the tracking that you guys can do. Because if you're really serious about optimizing, like for me at least, one of the most important things is that you actually have the data and that you track the right things. And most companies actually have a very shitty tracking setup. And when you showed me that for the first time here, I was like, that is genius. Because like then actually every single brand's gonna see, or like most brands, what they shouldn't do and what they need to fix, because there's so much confusion about how to track right. And that's, in my opinion, probably like one of the most underrated features I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's correct. So basically our head of data came up with this idea because he always said that Google Analytics, it's a trap. So basically you think you've installed it, but you don't leverage it. So it's like basically paying for the gym and not going there. So mainly with this feature, what he managed to do with his team basically was to come up with what are the things that a website, an e-commerce website should track, and it's visible for any user. So we don't need access to Google Analytics to look over those things. So basically, are you tracking the right things? For instance, this particular website, Boo Avenue, right? So they are failing on the Google Tag Management, right? So the GTM is not there. No GTM scripts found in the head or body section, right? Then they have it present there, but they don't have multiple page view events on homepage, which means that you don't have the capacity to track the page views from the homepage. Then presence of the content group parameter, presence of the view promotion event on homepage, because what you want to do is to understand the garbage in, garbage out knowledge, right? So basically, if you're not tracking these things, how are you supposed to improve the conversion rate if you're not looking for the right events, right? And basically, you are not tracking if people are scrolling on your homepage. So basically, you build like a very long page because that's the idea, right? And you are not even aware if people are scrolling it down or not. Or the presence of the view search, right? So no view search results even were found. So that's only on the homepage, but we have it throughout the entire funnel, right? So basically, there are a lot of things which are failing on the cart, on the checkout as well. So basically, the whole idea is to understand how this is going. And also, what I want to show you as well is that this is the average tracking hygiene score by country, right? So we've got all the websites that have done this audit. We have around 3,000 websites, and it's a mess, man. So the best is in Italy, which is 37. So it's 37% is the average by country. So which means that this is like in that joke with the shoe salesman. Nobody's selling shoes. That's a great opportunity. And the other salesman, nobody's buying shoes here. Oh, that's a mess. We can't sell it here. So I think this is a great opportunity for e-commerce websites, because in this jungle, in competitive landscape, it's a good thing that you can differentiate and you can look at what matters.
Yeah, maybe a comment to that. Like, what I think is crazy. Like, I mean, I'm a baby in the industry, right? Like 6 years in CRO is nothing. Like, I'm still at the beginning. But in the 6 years, like I've seen tracking accounts from companies that do 1 million a year, companies that do 100 million, and like companies that do 10 billion a year. And honestly, most of the time, the companies with the better tracking setup are the small ones. So it's like just insane to me, like that you now also can track it with that, because there's so much opportunity you leave on the table if you don't look at all the data. Like, if I like just from a CRO perspective and like I want to optimize something, I want to have as much data as possible. And when starting out, like when I think back to when I started out with using Google Analytics, was like back in the Universal Analytics days, and like how many events you had to set up, and like you only your head of data said like Google Analytics is a trap, like you set it up but you don't really leverage it. you can learn so much from your users. Like the small tests that you do with the like multiple events on the homepage. Like most people would be like, oh, that's nothing. But like if you think about it, it's like so powerful because like it means, well, you have events, you see what sections do people click on, what sections drive the revenue, what's banner image do they click on, and like get to start thinking about that. So I just want to say, amazing work with that.
Yeah, one aspect, Samuel, I think that should be addressed is that I think the CRO industry in itself is not mature enough, and there are still companies which are wasting a lot of money on ads, and they are comparing doing CRO with adding a new channel, which is crazy because you need to do CRO to help all the channels, all the traffic. So when you are increasing your, let's say, number of people which are being pushed towards the PDPs, towards the checkout, and so on, then you are affecting all the channels. But in order to do conversion rate optimization properly, I think you need this. I mean, without knowing what the users are doing, without looking at the micro conversions, how can you increase the conversion rate, right? Which is a macro and it's an average, right? You need to look at the behavior of the users and to see how many users are you persuading, convincing with your website to do the things that are preceding the conversion rate. And that's why it's so important to have the quantitative data properly set up and look at the implementations of the Google Analytics. And I think it's a thing which is here. I've made disaggregated data from all the websites. This is a problem that it's on all the platforms, right? I mean, the tracking hygiene score is around 33 in Shopify, and it's 27 or so on Salesforce and on custom and whatever. So it's still a third, right? And we don't have like 200.
What's the max score? 100?
Sorry, yeah, the maximum score is 100, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good picture of the industry. Like, I'm gonna agree with you 100%. Like the amount of times we're being asked like to show our ROI like a performance channel is insane. Like, doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, it's and it starts with that like no one really knows what's going on. Like they send all the traffic, like they have. That's the thing. Like every company has the craziest attribution models. Like they build all the custom things and try to figure out what channel brings you the revenue. But once they're on the store, it's like a black box. It's like, I don't know. I have this analogy. Like, imagine you're offline and you send all the people into like a black box, and then at the end you just hope they buy something, and you have no idea what's actually happening. That's exactly like what you do if you don't track. That's like first time I really see the numbers now. It's insane to me. Like that.
Yeah.
Most stores are just shit with tracking.
Yeah, and imagine that this is only what we can scan. There are like 40 something data points here, and it's without having access to a Google Analytics account. So we haven't actually properly looked at if those events are actually tracked correctly. We've just looked at those events are tracked, but that's another story. So I think it's a lot of room to grow, but it takes let's say open-minded e-commerce leaders to move the needle, to be honest. And it's a problem, as you can see, in all the countries. It's a problem in all the industries. But this is the last thing that I want to show. We've aggregated data from jewelry, from home and garden, from hobbies, fashion, whatsoever. So you can see here that the best optimized websites are the jewelry websites. And I think I can guess that because the AOV is so high, and the customer acquisition cost is so high, they can't afford to leave it to chance. And I think that's why they have like an average score of 66 out of 100. But basically that's the CRO benchmark. Go ahead, use it, see how you stand. And once you finish it and once you do it, you need to take into account that this is just scratching the surface. So you still need the folks and agencies like Samuel and Drip Agency to do the heavy lifting, or to at least tell you what to do, because these are marginal gains. Yeah, you just fix some things that are hygiene. But once you do this, it's about the cosmetics, right? It's about doing the things that are that are improving a website. And I wanted to ask you, Samuel, around, man, what you do, right? So you have this analysis being made. What you do afterwards? What's next once you do this X-ray?
Yeah, so maybe before I go in depth, I prepared a little bit of how we analyze funnels, what are the first steps. I like to go both ways, like the very data-driven way I'm going to show, but then also the way that you showed us, having checklists, having best practices, and looking at competitors to see, okay, what's going on in the market. But what we always do now, let me share my screen really quick.
Yep.
It should be visible right now, right?
Yeah. We can see it, but it's tiny, man. You need to zoom in.
Yeah, I need to zoom in. I'm going to give a big overview. So usually the first thing that I like to do, and that I also would encourage everyone to do, is, it sounds so stupid, but just screenshot your entire website. Just actually look at it. How does your website look once you zoom out? Because usually if you are on your phone, you see the small sections, but not the entire thing. And then also try to figure out what unique page groups and funnel steps you actually have. Honestly, one of the craziest things that I noticed is if you talk to e-com people or e-com managers, they're often yeah, majority of traffic goes to the product pages and everything else is irrelevant. But if you then look at the data, how many different pages are actually relevant, it's insane. So that's usually the first thing we do. And then what we want to do is we want to look at the funnel analytics. If you don't know how to do that, once you check your Google Analytics, then once you set up all the events, you should be able to do that. I'm just going to show you how to get there. What we like to do is using this explore page right here, create custom reports, especially, so you're just going to go in there, explore, create a new one, then go on to funnel analysis. It's going to do step by step. So if you want to do it afterwards, you can rewatch and do it. And then you get in there. And then usually the first thing that we do is here, we screenshot every single page that we think that we see in Google Analytics has a lot of traffic. And then we try and categorize them into funnel steps. And then the next thing that we do is we actually ask ourselves, what is the goal of a specific page? That's something most people don't even do, because you cannot optimize a page if you don't know what you're actually optimizing for. And then also, for example, it can be different for first-time returning visitors. Now, for example, for Snox, let me run you through it. For example, for the homepage, you have new visitors to come or returning visitors. For first-time visitors, quite often they might have seen one or two ads on social media. They might have searched the Snox. They want to see what Snox offers. What products do they have? Do they have the products they need? And does it align with their interests? And then for returning visitors, the goal is slightly different. They probably have been to the homepage already. They've looked up some products, but then they want to go directly to the product they've searched for, or go into there. So these are two main goals. It's product discovery, I'd say, and how quick do you get to the product? But then also, if we go back in here, for Snox, what we tested and figured out, if we optimize differently for women and men, it works very well. So we actually introduced two complete new pages, also something that goes against, I'd say, CRO myths, try to have as little pages as possible. I call that bullshit. I'd rather introduce a page that is custom tailored. So yeah, for Snox, we have men and women pages. And then also here, it's similar to the homepage. You want to discover the most important products. They should sort of also show you what the products are made of, easy categorization, maybe show some USPs already. Then, for example, for men, we tested it very successfully. Men like to just bundle up and buy bulk. You know what I mean? They just want to buy it all. That's also me. Men like to save. Don't like to think. So these are the page goals here. Then if you go to the listing pages. Yeah, so sorry, I did not get that, Valentin.
Yeah. So you want to do it short. You want to do it quickly. You want to get rid of that because it's not it's not a crucial acquisition for you.
Yeah. And then once you go over to, let's say, listing pages, the goal again gets multi-product refinement. So you want to for example, here what we would look at, okay, how many filters are being used? Which filters are being used? Which filter use leads to the highest conversion rate? So sort of trying to understand, okay, the goal is figuring out what product I want very quickly. Then once you get to the product page, to be very honest, I think the Snox product page is the best product page we have ever optimized. Like I think we ran over 250 tests on it to date, which is insane. Like if I look at it now and like I see everything, like even the little price up here, it's a test, everything was a test. But yeah, product page has a simple goal. You want to confirm in a user's mind that they buy the product, that the product has everything they need, like all the USPs. Because again, what you need to know when you do CRO, people buy the product because they solve a specific problem for them. Like I know, for example, for underwear, it sounds like stupid, but there are so many angles you can go. You can go an angle. We're actually just starting to test with that. There are studies like if you wear very bad underwear, like low quality, it can reduce the quality of your sperm. And then like your boxer short suddenly is like helping men or like couples get kids. So you really got to think, okay, what is actually the thing that the product does for you? So that's pretty much the goal on the product page. What we think about then also for Snox, like we have bundle pages. It's like where you can, I think I showed them, you have different products you can bundle together, but then here again, it needs to be easy. Like you need the USPs, but it needs to be an easy process. You need to understand the savings. And then cart checkout, very simple as well. You want to get the customer toward checking out, like just very simple, focused. You want to try and see what can I do? Like for Snox, for example, everything you see in the cart has been tested. And easy things like highlighting that they have a 6-month anti-hole guarantee. So if your socks or boxer shorts get a hole, you have that here, like a subtle reaffirmation. 100 days, you can give the products back and things like that. Free shipping. You exactly see when the products are going to arrive, etc. But that's the first thing you want to do. Like really understand what is your funnel, what are the different steps, and then you want to go into Google Analytics. I'm probably just going to link the document in the chat later or send it. I don't know, Valentin, if you can send it out to the newsletter so they receive it. Like then you go in and you pretty, because I don't want to go into details. I think that would be a little bit overkill. Then you want to go into the details, create the funnels. And then what's getting really interesting is if you actually do the funnel analysis. So one thing, I hope it's big enough, that most people miss out completely is the open funnel analysis. So usually people just do a regular funnel. So they start homepage, then collection page, PDP, etc. What we actually want to do is we want to see, okay, like not everyone's going to go from homepage to checkout. Like some people will start at different pages. So what we always like to do is like we like to do an open funnel and then go in and try and see, okay, how many people actually are abandoning at what point. And then you also see, okay, what's like the highest abandonment rate? It's getting super interesting. Like, and then obviously you also, first of all, realize, okay, what is the first page I should optimize? And that's like, for example, if you look here, in this case, it will be very easy for us. Well, we have 617,000 users on that page. So we're definitely going to optimize that first. But also gives you like some sort of indication where you should look at. And then like what we like to do once we optimize, like let's say we want to optimize the product page now because it's has a high abandonment rate. I mean, like it's quite normal. Like if we have that much direct traffic coming on, then you want to start tracking things like, okay, how many times do people click on the color swatches? What happens if they click several times? Do they convert better or worse? Then also one test, for example, that we were able to come up with on optimization is we figured out through events that we set up that if people switch between S and M, for example, or M and L, and they switch back 2 or 3 times, they have a higher likelihood of leaving the online shop than people that only click once. And then we were like, well, yeah, that makes sense because like 2 or 3 clicks back to back on a size selector means you're insecure. You don't know if that's going to be the right decision. You don't know if the size is going to be fitting you.
Yeah.
So then our thought here was, well, at that point, you need to nudge the user and give him like sort of a reassurance that he's doing the right thing and that the product's going to fit him perfect. And then what we did, sorry, it's in German right now, not in English, pretty much says, these boxer shorts are being kept. Did you know that our boxer shorts in that size are rarely being returned because they fit perfectly? Just try it out. And that's like in that moment when the user thinks, oh, I don't know if that's the right size, then you show it. But these insights, you're only going to be able to get if you actually track everything. If you set up all the small events, if you try to learn what different click behaviors actually means. Because you want to pinpoint what click behavior means they're not sure about finishing the purchase. And I think that like that's the beauty, like being able to track everything, and then also like using stuff like the TO benchmark to come up with ideas and see, okay, what should we do now? What are the optimizations we can do? Would be curious, like to know, Valentin, like when you optimize for yourself, how did you approach it?
Yeah, so one I'm always starting with the methodology that rocked my world, which is called the jobs to be done. So basically, whatever you are selling, you need to know what's the itch, what's the pain that the product is solving. Because if you don't do this in-depth customer research, you are missing out on the things. Pretty much like you do, you look at the behavior from the quantitative point of view. And I'm also adding this qualitative research, let's say in-depth user interviews, so that we understand, okay, what is this company all about? And I can remember, for instance, one insight that we've found out by doing user research with one of our customers. We've started long time ago. So they were selling turmeric shots, and turmeric shots, they were for immunity support, stuff like that. But guess what? After user research, we found out that their best customers that bought over and over again, they got joint pains, which weren't fixable, let's say, with ibuprofen and Nurofen and whatever, because they also got digestive problems. And basically the brand, which was positioned for sports, immunity support, whatever, suddenly realized that the brand is for 50-plus-year-old people, which are after a painkiller, which is natural and is not causing other damage. And basically the landing pages and the positioning was changed according to that. So I think qualitative research plus quantitative research is crucially important. And I'm always starting from there. So back in the days when I was in the trenches doing conversion rate optimization, I always blended qualitative with quantitative research.
Yeah, I think that's honestly the magic sauce. Like, I mean, the technology, like, that's how I think about it. Like, AI is not going to solve how to optimize your online store. You always got to like look at your same data, but it makes it so much easier. Like, one of the things we do a lot, and I think it's the most underrated, is actually, like you say, jobs to be done interviews, or like what the product is being bought for. We name it a little bit differently. We name it category entry points. Like we go a little bit further than that, but it helps so much. Like just knowing what the product's being used for, like doing the research, doing the digging, then looking at the funnel.
Yeah,
100% agree. I saw there's so many comments. Like I was surprised. Like that's insane.
So people are asking things, and one thing from Dan is, how can this tool be used as a business development weapon to open doors? So when it comes to CRO, it's a free tool. So you can look at you can do an audit. You can find out if you are selling CRO, let's say solutions. You can use it, diagnose a website, and open the doors with something that it's already made, personalized for that particular company. That's basically my take on this.
Yeah, I maybe also put a take on. I don't know if it's like only business development for like B2B or also business development for, let's say, B2C companies. Like if it's also for B2C, like just look at the competitors. What do they do? Like the thing that I realized and learned being in the industry for 6 years, if you show a head of ecom what the competition is doing better than them, they instantly go like, we need to do this now. Yeah, they get this face and they're like, we need to do this now. Like, I don't care if we test it. We just need to do that what our competitors do. I don't care. So yeah, that's how I would use it. Like also show what competition is doing. If you struggle to get a stakeholder buy-in.
Yeah, that's right. How big is the impact of personalized order on the collection page? pushing top of the list products in the user size, preferred style, etc. So you want to take this?
I can take this one. So we actually for Snox tested quite a lot with that. For example, we do stuff like size pre-selection. Like let's say you selected size M on a product, then the next product you go, you will see that. But then also on the PLP, I think you only see the products or like the order of which ones the size M is available. We did test around with personalization more on the product detail page, because what we figured out is like, let's say a user comes to a detail page, then doesn't like the product, then you show alternatives. So the PLP is like very inspirational for us. Like that's what, at least in fashion and jewelry, what we figured out. So the order doesn't really matter. It's just about getting them to scroll a lot, like being inspired. And then once they're on a product, and if it's not the perfect one, then you got to have good alternatives, like cheaper ones, more expensive ones, or more or better, like price value wise. I hope that answers that question.
In which tool do you analyze the users who clicked the product size once versus the ones who clicked multiple times, GA4 or another one? I think it's a simple one.
Yeah, so we did that in GA4. So we basically just, I don't even know if we did the Google Tag Manager or hard coded it. Like sometimes we hard code. But yeah, you just set up an event and then you track it. Like you name it something like size selector click or whatever. Or I think you might be able to just do it through the click event in Google and like give the class with it. That also could work. But yeah, GA4 100%.
Super. Guys, if you have other questions, I think you can add them here. So basically, we will address them. Until then, Samuel, I have a question for you, man.
Yes.
It's about the future. So how do you see the future unfolding in this experimentation CRO industry?
I see it going into a direction where we will have a lot of AI agents, but probably AI agents based on to a company level. Like I don't think that we will have one tool that is going to optimize your online store all on its own. Because the CRO process, like internally right now, like we are restructuring the process because like we're getting bigger, it's getting more complex. But if you want to do CRO and optimize really good, it's like hundreds of steps you need to do right. So what I think, it's like there are going to be so many steps that are going to be automated, like writing the ticket for development, developing the test, designing the test. But what I think will not change is that we will need humans that are able to interact with the data, like with what they get from AI. Because in my opinion, it's still like sort of not, like you're still dealing with human beings. And like no one has decoded how human beings interact all the time. Like if we would know that, we wouldn't need to A/B test everything. But that's where I see it moving. It's like you're gonna spend less time on doing shitty work, and it's gonna be more time on brainstorming, thinking about more creative solutions. But yeah, that's how I see it. I don't know how you see it, but I don't see a future where AI is gonna replace humans anytime soon. It's too complex.
Yeah. I think so too. So my approach, I actually had the presentation at the retail show a few weeks ago, and I realized there are components of the whole CRO process. So for instance, let me show you here. Right. So basically this is the funnel, right? This is what how a website gets optimized. You do the analysis, you come up with insights, you build hypotheses. If we change this, we'll have this impact. Then you prioritize this hypothesis. You decide to run some experiments, you do the QA, the implementation, and then you do the reporting, you analyze, and you make decisions after the experiments has run. At this moment, the analysis part and some insights are generated through AI. I think in the near future, we're going to have more of the analysis being made automatically and more insights and more hypotheses, and easier to prioritize them based on the data that is there. So the human factor, the blue part, is going to be less present in the reporting and post-experiment decisions, and it's going to be present, of course, in the meaty part. While in the more distant future, I think the situation will be the opposite. So basically, I think the QA and the implementation is going to be easier, while the building of the hypothesis, the advanced ones, will still be on the shoulders of the human beings, let's say. Yeah, and what I also wanted to show to you is that we have two more things that we are going to add. One is the
I'm excited.
Yeah. So basically, we have the velocity. So we will be able to analyze, if you have that amount of traffic, how many changes or experiments have you run on your website in the last month or so? Because if you have, let's say, 400,000 visitors and you're not changing anything on your website, you're leaving money on the table. So, but if you compare what you do with another competitor of yours, which has basically similar website, similar traffic as you do, then you're in trouble. And another thing that we will add is the CRO impact, which means you will be able to plug in your Google Analytics. We already have this in beta, but it's not public yet. So you plug your Google Analytics account, and we can show you how much you've left on the table in the last 12 months due to the lack of experimentation, and how much you can make in the future thanks to experimentation, thanks to running a CRO program. So basically, that's what we have on the pipeline, and it is like we are 1 month away from launching this.
I'm excited. Are you going to be able to see the experiments a company runs, or is it just going to be...
We're going to have that as well. Yeah, at the beginning, we're going to see only the changes, and then we're going to give you some snapshots like, hey, this website changed that with that. It left it for this amount of time, and then now is the new control. Now is the default default experience.
That's amazing. Super stoked for that.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, let's go to the next question.
Does text have a big impact on engagement conversions, for example, on the hero section of a homepage? Samuel?
Yes, huge. Yeah. I think one of our best tests was like 5 words, like on a product detail page. But some people think that big contrast changes equal big impact. Not in my experience. Like, words have a huge thing. Like, just imagine you would have a blank website, no words. You're not going to sell any products.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think that's hugely important. I mean, as you've said, this is a very important aspect, the text. We have another one from Dan. What do you see happening on PDPs to cure the weakness or fails with AI?
What's happening? To cure the weak. I think as AI is going to play a crucial role in understanding why the people buy. So that's how I think AI helps. So for example, what we currently do is like we have a lot of review data, for example, from some customers, and then we use AI based on that, like to figure out, okay, what are the emotions, what are the words that people are talking about, how's the sentiment, like why do they buy the product? Try to figure out who are the people.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I get the question correct, like the fates with AI.
The fails, like, he means the flows, the things which are not properly done on the PDPs.
Yeah, like I think, like in my opinion, like honestly, the biggest part of AI will be with analyzing big data on scale in a very fast time to then make more decisions and test more in a faster, more efficient way. But I don't think AI is gonna be like just fixing your product page for yourself. You gotta understand the user and then fix the page.
Yeah.
Then I'll take the next one from Rob. Looked at it for a while. Rob Wolfer actually had some thoughts on that. In my opinion, especially if a beginner in CRO, go back to the basics. Like, understand how they used to do CRO 10 years ago. Like, my favorite course, I don't know if it's still up on CXL, was from Ton Westling, like experimentation course. Because the basics never will change. Like, technology is changing fast. Like, we're getting more and more opportunities what we can do with the tech. But essentially, the way CRO has been done 20 years ago is the same way it's being done right now. It's just we have more opportunities, and we have more data regulation. That's the only downside.
Yeah. My opinion on this, Rob, is to simply learn, man. So that's go learn. I mean, practice and go learn. By the way, we have a course which we are just launching. It's fresh. It's being it is just being cooked, but you can get it for free. So learn as much as you can. Learn from the mistakes or the experiments or the failed experiments of the other people, because that's how it goes. We have another question, Samuel. How are you
from
using
Drake? Yeah, nice to see you in the chat here, Drake. That's funny. Like when you see the people from LinkedIn that you talk to, how are you using AI to prioritize your testing hypothesis log for your clients? What tools like are you using? Do you recommend? So for us, we have like a custom built solution. In our prioritization, we look at self-psychological factors that a test is talking to. So we're like sort of profiling based on the tests. And we use AI to categorize the test in the first place to figure out, okay, based on our model, what type of test is it? And then we track throughout the testing program, okay, which test and which psychological tactics or overlying patterns have a high win rate. And that's what we're using it for. Toolset that we're using is pretty much all custom built. Like I wouldn't need to get into details, but we just use like all the APIs from all the big large language models. I think we use Gemini for some things with like a big context window, then obviously like GPT for a lot of the other things. But yeah, I hope it answers the question.
Yeah. So we have one more question, and then I think we're done. Which is coming from Anisha. Do you think having post-purchase surveys on the order confirmation on the thank you page is a good way to understand the why behind customer behavior? What are your thoughts on this approach? Samuel, you
Yes, I'll take over. I think it's one approach. It shouldn't be the only one. My favorite approach, honestly, got reading advertorials and like trying to figure out what is the very underlying need, why people buy. Because for some reason, like any product can be traced back to one of Maslow's basic needs, like shelter, food, relationship, and then like self-fulfillment. I think these are the 4 layers. But I just think go on Reddit, like just try to figure out where are your customers at. I like to try and figure out like to see what influencers are doing, what advertisers or what brands. Because I think you need a broader and more general view than just on the confirmation page. But I think it's a very good way. But you also should look at people that have not bought, because if you only look at the people that have bought your product, you will miss out on some that you might miss right now because your product does not speak to them. But yeah.
Super. Then yeah, I guess I'm on the same opinion. So basically, I think it's.
Yeah. Well, with one reply from Alex, Amazon did tests on thank you page and they asked what almost made you not buy these products. Yeah, highly would recommend doing that. We also sometimes do that. Great question. Another great question would be, what brands or online stores did you look at before decided to buy with us? And then follow-up question, why did you end up buying with us? And then sometimes, because we had some retailers that like sold Nike shoes and Adidas shoes, and people told us that they figured out that other people like show the guarantees with price matching, but then they have hidden costs like transaction fees or some shipping fees. And then we actually knew that our customer or client was the cheapest one. So then you can use that, like all these insights. So yeah, 100% would do post-purchase. And you can get wild and really creative with that.
Super. Then, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're about to wrap up. We will send you the recording. Samuel is going to share with us the nice flow with all these details about how to analyze a website by using the tracking. Ben, sorry, we can't take your last question, but I hope you liked it. Write in the comments if you liked it, if you want more of us. If you want to get more from Samuel, he's a machine. So he's putting up a lot of knowledge on LinkedIn. You can get him over there. Also, get to if you don't have yet your CRO benchmark account, you can get it while it lasts. That being said, happy Easter if that's the case, and thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone. Bye guys. It was so much fun. Thanks for having me on. Bye.
Bye.